Hi guys, today I'm doing the Alphabet Soup book tag, E is for Ending. So I was tagged to do this by Chloe over at Chloe Reads Books, and I thought I'm doing Alphabathon this month where I have to read the entire alphabet, so a lot of books, and I thought doing an alphabet book tag would actually be a really good way to start the month. So I'm just going to get straight into the questions. All of them are based around the letter E, and we'll just see how good I get. So the first one is E is for ending. Name a book with a great one and one whose ending sucked. So, for a good ending, I would say Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. I thought this was an amazing ending. I thought it was building up to something. I wasn't sure how it was going to end. I thought maybe I can guess how it's going to end. I did guess how it was going to end, but only very near the end, so it wasn't like an easy guess. And I didn't even care that I guessed it. I thought it was just so well done, so well written. Absolutely loved it. So 100% think that is the best ending of a book I've read in a while. So amazing, yeah. And one that sucked, you all know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Come Again. I hated that ending. I thought the rest of the book was amazing. I loved the book so much until it got to the end, and then the end let me down so badly that I ended up giving the book a 2-star rating. Obviously, I'm not going to go into spoilers as to why the ending was so bad, but it hurt, and I was mad, and I felt cheated, and that book needs burning. So question 2 is E is for elderly. A favourite or memorable elderly character. Now, I don't think a lot of you will know who I've chosen, but I've chosen Nana Mama from the Alex Cross book series. A lot of people don't seem to know James Patterson books, and when they do, they don't seem to know Alex Cross. Alex Cross is my all-time top book series by James Patterson. I love it so much. And the character of Nana Mama is our main character, Alex's grandmother, who lives with him. And she's just, she is amazing. She has cared for him since he was a child because his mum died, his dad died, and he needed to be taken in. So she took care of him, but she was never babied. Like, she gave him a hard time, but she was so loving with it. She ain't afraid to whoop his ass, despite the fact he's a police officer. She treats his kids exactly how she raised him, and she's just one of those all-time loving characters. She's not fake in any way. She will see a stranger on the street, and if she doesn't like them, she will tell them. And she's just one of those battle axe characters that you adore. And it's an ongoing thing where there is now 30 books in the Alex Cross series, and Nana Mama technically should be dead. Because technically, I suppose she shouldn't be, but quite early on in the series, she mentioned she was in her 80s, and each book, it can span between a year and 4, and she's still alive. And I don't know how old she is. It's kind of an ongoing thing. No one knows how old she is, but she must be getting on to 100 now, so she must be dead soon. But everyone loves her so much that we don't mind that she's still alive, despite the fact that she's a century old. So yeah, I love Nana Mama. So number 3, E is for EU. A favourite contemporary writer from the EU, or one I would like to try. I don't really read contemporary that much, or if I do, I don't realise I'm doing it. So I did struggle with this one, but I chose Fredrik Backman. He is from Sweden, and I had to Google whether Sweden was in the EU. Turns out it is, but I read Beartown this year, and I loved that story so much. It was a really good story, really great contemporary, and I do want to try more by Fredrik Backman. There is one, and I can't remember what it's called. Is it Every Day the Road Home Gets Longer or something like that? And I want to read that one desperately, but it's so expensive, so I'm just no, I'll wait till my library opens and ask them to buy it. But I really love his writing style. It's very character focused, which is not my kind of thing, yet I still really enjoy the story, so I don't mind. And it's very strange how that works. So I do want to give him more of a go, read more of his books. I also want to read the Beartown sequel. So yeah, I think he's a very good contemporary writer. I do enjoy him. Question 4. E is for E. A writer you'd recommend whose first and or last name begins with E. Now, I scoured my entire bookshelves for this. And I thought, I ain't recommending her. So I went for a book that I very recently got, which is over there, and I ain't picking it up now because I'm sat down. I'm going for Elizabeth Azevedo, and I've just got Clap When You Land. I got sent it as a gift, and I'm so excited to read it. When I got that gift, I cried. And I'm really looking forward to reading it. A lot of people have read some of her works before and they have fallen madly in love with them. I cannot wait to see. Apparently she is very character focused again. That's not my kind of thing, but I have enjoyed it before, so there's no reason why I shouldn't enjoy it, providing there's a little tiny bit of plot, because I need a bit of plot. I can't just be entirely character focused. But I know the question's really asking for a writer I'd recommend, and I don't really have that many. So I chose her because I feel as though a lot of people have recommended her to me. So if I was going to recommend someone, it would very well be her. So question 5 is E is for exploration. A new writer, theme or genre you would like to try. So I've tried a little bit with fantasy, and I think most of the time when I've kind of dipped my way in, I've really enjoyed it. I'm currently reading, what am I currently reading? A Court of Thorn and Roses right now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Some of my friends said, I don't think you will. It ain't going to be your thing. You're going to hate it. And I honestly believed I wouldn't like it. But I'm really enjoying it. I've kind of dipped in. The Hobbit, I read. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. Didn't love it, but I really enjoyed it. So I want to read more fantasy, because I think the more and more I dip my toe in and get in there, the more I'll enjoy it. I think I'm currently easing my way in with some urban fantasy and some YA fantasy, just because it's much more light, it's much easier for me to get into as a non-fantasy reader. And I think eventually maybe I'll go for some of the heavier fantasy. I don't know. But I do want to try more fantasy, because I do seem to enjoy it whenever I read it. Not as much as like thrillers and things like that, but I do enjoy it, and I want to try and get involved in fantasy a little bit more. So 6 is E is for Et tu, Brute, and a book where betrayal plays a central role. Now, I went for, is it even here? Yeah, here. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I'm not going to get it out because there's loads of books, and I feel like everything's just going to collapse on top of me if I do. Obviously, I won't say why betrayal plays a central role. I won't name names. If you've read the book, you know why betrayal plays a central role in that. Well, not really a central role, but it does have a central role. It's kind of like a reveal betrayal, but the betrayal spans the book. And I feel as though the betrayal is quite heavy in that first book. I think it continues throughout, but that first book is obviously the starting one. It's probably the easiest one to choose. And I really enjoy them books. I really need a reread of these books. I'm going to reread you soon, I swear. I'm just going to move on. Number 7. E is for exception. A book you loved in spite of it containing what I would consider a fatal flaw. Now for this was an easy one. To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I don't do romance. I don't do YA romance. I don't do YA romance with a love triangle. A love triangle is a fatal flaw. It angers me. I don't like it. And yet somehow I fell in love with this book. Maybe because it technically wasn't a love triangle. It was more of a... I don't really know what to call it. There was one that she could be with, and then one that was very much off limits, and I think that's technically still a triangle, but she did stick with the "you're off limits, I ain't going with you" kind of thing, and I like that. So yeah, To All the Boys I Loved Before and its little love triangle thing, I somehow liked it. Been a bit sneaky there, but I liked it. So number 8 is E is for E. A book with a title with lots of E's. Now that one was easy. I went for Everything Everything. I have just finished this book, and I know it doesn't have that many E's, but it does have 4 in the title. And I love this book. It's an absolute 5-star book. I watched the movie before, so I wasn't surprised by the book. I wasn't surprised by how much I liked it. I knew I would love it. And it was just so much fun, such an easy read, and I loved it. And it has a lot of ease in it, so yeah. Next is E is for Ever Present. A book you read a long time ago that really stuck with you. Now, I would normally go for Nemesis because that's one of my favourite book series ever. I am in love with it. But I'm going to go with Numbers because this series was really, really interesting. This was kind of like the first dip into, it wasn't fantasy, I don't know what you'd call it. She has the ability to look into someone's eye and see the date they will die. Like, to me, that's kind of like supernatural, which could be fantasy. So that was like my very first dip into fantasy. And I love the entire book series. I've got them signed by the author. I've met the author. She's a great woman. And I love the books. I really, really do. And I want to reread them. So the story actually is about a young girl who can look in someone's eyes and see the date they'll die, like I said. And one day she suddenly looks around and sees that everybody has the same date. And it goes from there. So next is E is for Eliminate, a group of books you got rid of and why. I've actually just filmed an unhaul that went up on Thursday. So I'm just going to link that and you can watch that for all the books I've unhauled and why. And finally, E is for Everyone. Tag extensively. So I'm going to tag Lauren from She Is Such a Lauren, Robbie from And His Nose Stuck in a Book, Celeste from The World of Reading, and Claire from Books with Claire, because they are my lovely bone sticks and it is tough. You are now tagged. I'm not going to tag Brooke and Jade just because they've started just ignoring my tags, and also I get yelled at every time I do, so I'm not going to do it this time. So hopefully they'll be happy. So that is the end of the tag. I'm so glad I did that. And I'm going to get back to reading because I have 26 books to read this month. So I post every Monday, Wednesday and Saturday. Make sure you are subscribed. And until next time, I will see you guys later.